China violated international aviation norms and its own rules. The detained woman was holding a fully valid Indian passport on a legal transit route, carrying documents that entitle her to visa-free transit. International aviation norms mandate that transit passengers must not be discriminated against. China's refusal to accept her passport because of her birthplace is arbitrary. It is discriminatory, a violation of global norms, a breach of China's own published transit regulations. And the MEA has clearly stated that China's actions violated established international air travel conventions and basic principles of non-discrimination.
Regarding the arbitrary detention of an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh who was holding a valid passport and was transiting through Shanghai International Airport on an onward travel to Japan, we want to say that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India, and this is a fact which is self-evident. No amount of denial by the Chinese side is going to change this indisputable reality. At the same time, I said that we did take up this matter. We did do a strong démarche with the Chinese side, both in Beijing and in Delhi, when the incident took place.
And this was not an immigration formality. It was political intimidation disguised as border control. This is not a passenger issue. If you think deeply, this is not a passenger issue. It is an attack on India's sovereignty. Rejecting a valid Indian passport on the basis of Arunachal Pradesh is tantamount to rejecting the sovereignty of the Indian state, the constitutional identity of Indian citizens, the territorial integrity of the Republic of India. By treating an Arunachal-born Indian citizen differently, China tries to delegitimize Indian sovereignty, politicize a routine travel process, and send a signal that Arunachal is disputed. By this, they are challenging India's authority over its own people. India responded appropriately by issuing a strong démarche and making it clear that such behavior will not be tolerated. Now, why Arunachal Pradesh is indisputably Indian territory? People need to understand this. Nobody can claim Arunachal to be theirs because of its constitutional status. Arunachal Pradesh is a full and permanent state of India under the constitution. It's complete Indian governance. India administratively, politically, militarily, and developmentally controls the region. People's identity and will. You need to understand that. The people of Arunachal Pradesh proudly identify as Indians. Their history, their culture, and lived reality are rooted in the Indian nation state. And it's an international acceptance. No global body, no major nation, and no legal document recognizes China's claim. China's assertions are political rhetoric, not facts. They're aggressive claims, not legitimate rights. China's recent behavior, it's a pattern of pressure. This incident fits into a broader pattern of Beijing's strategy. If you see the administrative harassment, this is a kind of administrative harassment, rejecting passports, issuing staple visas, detaining travelers. It's cartographic manipulation, maps, renaming campaigns, false narratives, and diplomatic posturing. Protest against Indian leaders visiting Indian territory, and also border militarization, troop deployments, incursions, and infrastructure build-up along the LAC. What do all these indicate? By turning a normal transit passenger into an instrument of political messaging, China has once again shown willingness to weaponize routine procedures to advance its claims. And its impact on Indo-China relations must be watched. The timing of this incident is especially sensitive. Both nations are engaged in military disengagement talks, holding diplomatic level discussions, trying to de-escalate LAC tensions. Yet, China continues to provoke, signaling that the dispute is far from resolved. And it is a risk. It is a risk to bilateral ties, and this includes deepening trust deficit, retaliatory measures, worsening public opinion, hurdling in trade, visas and cooperation, hardening of India's strategic posture. Such actions undermine all attempts at stabilization. And it's a message to the international community. This incident reinforces several global principles. Borders cannot be redrawn by political imagination. Passports cannot be invalidated based on birthplace disputes. Territorial claims cannot be enforced through administrative bullying. The will and identity of people matter more than unilateral assertions. India is a peaceful nation, but on matters of sovereignty, its position is firm, clear, and uncompromising. And here we are compelled to ask, if passports can be rejected for birthplace entries, what happens to the stability of global mobility? Should aviation bodies create stronger protections against political misuse of immigration controls? Is China testing how far it can push administrative sovereignty beyond its borders? Does this mark a shift in China's strategy from military posturing to bureaucratic coercion? How should India respond to maintain firmness without escalating conflict? At this stage, we cannot afford a conflict. These questions deserve serious discussion from policymakers, diplomats, and global institutions. And today, when we see the Shanghai airport detention is more than a travel inconvenience, it is a strategic probe, a calculated attempt to push China's territorial narrative through administrative means. By challenging the legitimacy of an Indian passport, China attempted to symbolically challenge India's sovereignty itself. But India's firm response sends a clear message. The message is, our borders are not negotiable. Our sovereignty is not negotiable. And the dignity of our citizens is not negotiable. This episode may appear small, but it is part of a larger geopolitical chessboard. China is testing the boundaries of how far it can push narratives through non-military means. India is testing the firmness of its diplomatic resolve. The world will watch how the next moves unfold, and they will shape the future of India-China relations in profound ways. For more updates and insights, keep watching The Global Eye.